Hello, everybody. I would like to discuss the recent events that basically uh, encapsulate the end of this war that has been going on in Iran between the US, Iran, and Israel. Um, Now, as you may know, Donald Trump recently announced that he was going to withdraw from the war within roughly 2 to 3 weeks. So that is a decision that you would think has been made, um, and is I think is going to become official very very soon, because prior to that he was basically back and forth between, we need to absolutely bomb them, we need to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, we need to go and attack all their infrastructure. The consequences of that were very dire, and the world has seen that, and the world has responded. And Donald Trump knows this, and he has seen the results of what he's done. And he knows now that digging a deeper hole into Iran by bombing them, killing innocent civilians, and affecting the global economic supply chain, predominantly oil, has been very unpopular. So it's pretty much likely to say that his comments on him retreating or him withdrawing are true. Now, in terms of the war as a whole, we could say it's been an absolute disaster, in my opinion. I don't think it's done them or the world any favors. Um, I mean, if you look at the results of what has come out of this, you cannot say that it was a good war for anyone. Um, and it basically was a absolute disaster, as I said already. So let's go through some of the things that has happened during the war and why this is the case. So he said that he's withdrawing from Iran. His objectives were initially to change the regime by eliminating the supreme leader, which he did. However, the supreme leader, we know, basically is going to be reinstated, and it hints towards it being his son or possibly somebody else, since I think Iran knows that whoever they reinstate is going to have to be somebody who's shrouded in mystery, because anyone who knows who that person is going to have a target on their back. The regime doesn't just include that person either. It includes a religious backing of military commanders, basically, or royal guards who are there to protect and install this regime upon the uh, economy and community of Iran. So, the other objective was to eliminate their nuclear power and capabilities, as they call it. They have done this to an extent by bombing and destroying some of the nuclear infrastructure that allowed Iran to produce nuclear weapons. But what people are saying is that there are reserves of uranium within Iran that, unless they are removed, means that Iran still has the capability to produce nuclear weapons. And also, the people that produce those nuclear weapons still have the knowledge. They haven't been basically committed of a crime by creating those nuclear weapons and being told you're not allowed to do that. They still have that capability, and they are still free roaming within Iran. The other one is the Strait of Hormuz, which is affecting the whole world at the moment. That is still closed. Any oil tanker, any ship, basically any marine boat of some kind going through that strait is at risk. And They can't get oil flowing through there or get oil transported through there at all at the moment, possibly for months to come. Until deals are made, peace talks are made, and we know those peace talks haven't been made at to any extent as what Donald Trump and his administration was telling us that they have been. Because he mentioned during the war that the peace talks were going well. They are complying. They are coming up with a deal. They are gonna allow us to do this, to do that, etc. That I don't think happened. Iran was basically telling America to get the F out of their country and leave them alone. Then you have the comments that were made by Donald Trump during the war and after the war. And most recently, this one stood out, is obviously the one saying, oh, NATO, all you allies out there that need oil, that can't get it, get your own oil. You never helped America when they needed it during the war. We're not going to help you get the oil. Like we were going to help them to make a war worse, which we knew it was going to, just so we could stay friends with America and ensure that we were going to have good oil supply. That is never going to be the case with a sensible country that knows that digging a deeper hole into a problem makes it worse. So everyone stayed out of that, and now we are suffering the consequences of America and Donald Trump's just sheer inability to manage a war. He mismanaged it. He basically wasn't able to come through with a objective that succeeded and allowed him to withdraw. He wasn't able to do that. There were lives lost in this war. I know that there was at least 1,000 Iranian civilians killed during this war by some of America's ballistic missiles, some of their missiles that were dropped, bombs on Iran. Originally it was like, America's going to take out the regime. It's going to, liberate the people. And I think it's actually turned into the opposite. I'm sure a lot of Iranians are going, God damn it, America, you've absolutely screwed us. We're in economic chaos right now, basically. The other thing was the very opaque way that the Trump administration handled the war with the public. They basically teased us. It was like back and forth. Oh, we're doing well. Oh, we're going to retreat. Oh, we're going to bomb them into submission. We're going to, do this, do that. And it's like, just tell us straight up that you aren't able to get Iran to do what you want to do, and rightly so. A country suddenly getting bombed by another country, I'm sure they're going to go into shock and go, oh, we need to retaliate to this. The high fuel prices are impacting countries all over the world. And I'm going to use the example of my own country, Australia. We have seen fuel go from $1.90 per litre all the way up to $2.60. Nearly a 70-cent increase. So that's huge. Everyone's feeling it. The stock levels of oil in Australia are low now. Our government has had to basically implement excise changes on our fuel, so it's bringing the price down, so it allows Australians to be able to afford it. Obviously that is going to be temporary, because once the reserve levels of oil drop enough, that's when we need to consider how we're going to get our future oil supply. And yeah, we are basically riding on a temporary fix to see what is going to happen in the future. Since Donald Trump has taken out the regime in Iran, the Iranian regime possibly has strengthened. The original regime has now strengthened into basically a worse regime because they're going to be religiously motivated and also in shock, and that creates strength. So they're going to come back stronger, and the Iran people possibly are going to be under the same circumstance that they were before, if not maybe worse. So we've got all that to look forward to. The inflation of around the globe has gone up. I know that in Australia, interest rates on our mortgages went up by 0.25% very early in the war. That was the RBA that made that decision. Apparently, US gas prices or fuel prices have gone higher. I mean, if it's happening in your own country, in the eyes of Trump, you know that you have a problem. You need to sort that out. If America isn't happy with their own president, their president needs to find a quick solution. So he's withdrawing from the war. Midterm elections, I've mentioned that in another video. That is another reason why you want to be popular during those times, and this war has done the opposite. So he is withdrawing, making sure he doesn't dig a hole that's deeper than what it already is. And the last thing I'm just going to say is how many false claims versus reality we really had. Yes, they said they destroyed all the nuclear infrastructure. However, there was still uranium left in Iran, and possibly still is. So that may mean a nuclear program hasn't been eliminated. The other one is the peace talks with Iran, saying that everything's going well. We've had talks. I don't think they, and by what I've heard, apparently the Iranians had no communication with Trump in any positive way. It was mostly like, probably very minimal. And I don't think many leaders, government, political within Iran were talking to Trump during this war. I don't think that was the case, and many other people think that way too. So basically, Trump was kind of trying to sort of make it very opaque for us to see what was going on. In his defense, it could have been a military tactic, but I mean, if it's an unpopular war, your tactics are going to be unpopular as well. So be straight with the people, do the right thing, and maybe don't start a war that is going to have no positive change. And it's not going to, it hasn't helped America, it hasn't really helped Iran. So maybe don't do that in the future. And a personal comment, I think Donald Trump, like I said, he's a great businessman. I know that he has a history of being that. I think he needs to stick to that and, look after his own country. Improve the economy in your own country, then maybe you can start looking at other countries and helping them as well, or whatever you deem help is, instead of maybe going in there and bombing the absolute crap out of them. So yeah, thank you for listening. Any comments, feel free to leave them on my video as well. Cool. Thank you. See ya.